I'm originally from Bosnia. I moved to the US when I was 4 years old due to the breakup of the former Yugoslavia. I lost my father during the war in Bosnia, and we were lucky enough to relocate as refugees in Burlington, Vermont. Soccer was the most positive distraction and outlet you could imagine. Soccer for me is special because I've met some of the most important people in my life through soccer, and I've gone to soccer during some of the most difficult times in my life, as well as some of the most happy times in my life. Yeah, so I'm originally from Bosnia. I was born in Bosnia during the Yugoslav conflict, during the Civil War when Yugoslavia broke up. My family was forced out. We were of religious minority, and because of that, we were forced to flee the country. It was my mom, my sister, and my brother. My father actually went missing in the war in Bosnia. To this day, we still don't know what happened. We assume he's passed away. We assume that he's dead and in a mass grave that just hasn't been dug up yet. My mom was really honest telling us stories about Bosnia. She was pretty open about it and honest about what happened and the different things that went on. I mean, my brother saw uncles and cousins killed right in front of him. My sister almost had her ears cut off because she had earrings that the Serbs wanted. And another one that was quite crazy with me personally, when I was born, my mom gave birth to me without any doctors, without anyone in the room. She had to do it on her own. A couple days after she gave birth to me, a bomb actually came in through the window that I was sleeping in, and it just never exploded. So there was a lot of stories that I've been told that almost don't seem real, but it's the reality of that kind of environment and situation. Yeah, my mom was a father figure, a mother figure, a grandma and a grandpa. I mean, I didn't meet any of my grandparents. I didn't meet my father. So my mom was everything for us. She worked really hard so that we had all the same opportunities. And that was just really amazing to me because she lost a husband. She lost brothers and sisters in the war, and she still had this outlook on life that was just so positive all the time. But I think one of the most important things that my mom did with soccer was she brought me to practice, she brought me to games. She would get off of work at 3:30 or 4, get me to soccer practice. While I was at practice, she would go home and make dinner. She would come back and pick me up, and then by the time I got home, dinner was ready, and then she would just do it all over again every single day. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer the winter before I was supposed to go to college and did go to college. It'll have been 5 years since she passed. So my mom did die of ovarian cancer, and it was a Friday. And that night I went to pick up soccer with some of the refugee population in Burlington, and she had passed that morning, and that night I went to pick up soccer because it's what she would have wanted me to do, because that's what she encouraged me to do when she was diagnosed. I had practice, I almost didn't go. She encouraged me. When she had surgery, she encouraged me to go to the Disney showcase, and then when she passed, I knew that it was only right that I went to pick up soccer that night, because that was what had helped me through those moments, and that's the power of soccer. Yeah, so I started playing in just an indoor league when I was very young. It was on a gym floor. That was when I really started soccer. I remember my mom signed me up. I was so excited. I still remember jumping up and down on the bed when I found out that I was going to be playing in this 6-week-long indoor league on a gym floor. From there, I really fell in love with the game. When we were 13, we formed our own club, Synergy, and then I played for the same coach from the time I was a U13 all the way up through U19. From there, I went on and played at the NCAA Division I level at the University of Central Arkansas. I was there for 3 years. I will say the most difficult time was when, right before we got on the plane to go down there. I remember my friend and I both were just bawling in the airport in Burlington before we got on the flight to go down there. It didn't hit us until we got to the airport. It was tough, but my mom made it really easy because of how encouraging she was. And one of the things that she would always mention is, look, if I was able to move across the world and start completely new, not knowing any English, you can go to Central Arkansas and play college soccer. That's nothing compared to what we've already done. So she was very encouraging of it. Ultimately transferred back to a school in Vermont, Castleton University, where I played my last year and a half. My mom was really sick at that time, and I needed to be closer to her so that she could watch games. And a lot of people would look at that and question it, but the experience at Castleton was just so positive because my family was able to come to games. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have. Yeah, I knew the role that soccer played in my life. I knew the role that the people that I met through soccer played in my life, and there was no way I was going to do anything other than coach. I try to lead with love more than anything. And I mean, a lot of times soccer is an outlet for people, and I want to make sure that it's a positive outlet and not a negative outlet. There's just a lot that a lot of people are going through, and it doesn't always show up on the surface. And for me, it's leading with love. It's creating an environment that they want to be a part of every single day. When you see them evolve over time, both as soccer players, but more importantly as people, that's the most rewarding part of it. One of the most vivid memories I have of my mom in the later stages of her life was when I was just getting into coaching. I remember calling her and asking her how one of her doctor appointments went, and she told me that she paused for a while, and I remember her telling me that the doctors basically told her that there was nothing else that they could do to help her. And a few months before she passed, we had a spring play day up at the University of Vermont. It's probably 25 or 30 degrees, but she came and watched the game and stayed outside, even though she probably shouldn't. And that resiliency and that commitment in that moment was a small version of everything she had done during the course of my life to make sure that I was successful. And when it does get a little tough sometimes, I remember how tough it must have been for her to come and watch that game that day. There was always just really such positive energy, and she was one of the greatest, she is the greatest person I've ever encountered in my life. I'm Amir. I'm originally from Bosnia. For me, soccer was the most positive distraction and outlet you could imagine.